Hello again, Ian Sookie with Mastermind Games, back with Warmachine and Captain Allison Jakes of the Cygnar faction. Fair skin 09047. Not too much of this because the only skin showing is on her face, but Allison Jakes originated from the video game Warmachine Tactics and is pretty much the star of the Cygnar campaign in that game, going from journeyman to full-fledged warcaster by the end of it, and of course she got models for both versions. This is Jakes 2 in the miniatures game. Unfortunately, Privateer Press did not really do the follow-up campaigns, as far as I'm aware, that would have included the other journeyman warcasters and lesser warlocks that were created about that time. And next, Banshee Brown. So, Jakes is a duelist and something of an assassin type. In the game, she is under the command of Commander Dolan Sturgis while she completes her journeyman tour. Unfortunately, after he's killed by the Butcher of Kardov, Ursus Octavir, she's on her own, running into her mentor later on, with Sturgis having been reanimated and corrupted by Crix. And during her initial encounter with her reanimated master, she seized his weapons and started using them as her own. And I think that's, let's see here. I think that's about it for the padding underneath her armor, so leave that be. So this version, full Warcaster version, feet and everything, I haven't looked too closely at her stats, but her blades are the remnants of Sturgis's weapon, and she's packing a pair of hand cannons now. So I'm going to let this dry and move on in a bit. Okay. Fire Orange 09006. Might have to do a second coat on this. Don't worry about that later. If I have to do a second coat, I'll do it off camera. I'm using just enough water to thin the paint. Now, Leather White 09062. Get this cloth here, a trailing sort of coat. Bronze brush moist but not overly wet during this again. A little more down here. And I think that's good till I get the armor. Yeah, we'll let that dry. Okay, the big one. Ultramarine blue. That's a little thick right there. Let's see if I can use the brush to do something about that. Okay. Ultramarine blue. Just gonna get the entirety of her armor now and then pick out other details, secondary and tertiary details, later. Once this dries, so. Get a nice solid coat all along the armor. And outside of cricks, most warcasters are literally armored from the neck down, so. And for those of you unfamiliar with Warmachine, well, warcasters are battle wizards that have this overflow of power. Comparing a normal wizard to a warcaster is like comparing a normal flashlight to a movie studio floodlight that turns night into day. And all of a warcaster's equipment, including their weapons, their armor, and their warjacks, which they can control telepathically, are all designed to make use of this overflow. Let's see here. I'll do the tops of the scabbards there. They've got the Cygnar insignia on it. Okay. Let that dry, and then move on. Next, Old Bronze 09197. Picking out a few details, like the smokestacks on her arcane turbine, which is an integral part of the warcaster armor. Whoop, and I just knocked my brush out of my hand. Now we'll get the grips of the swords. Knees, I think. Yeah, get the knees. What else? I don't think anything else right now. Plate mail metal. Get the rest of the sword. And the hand cannons. I think that's going to be it on that for now. A little more bronze because there are some bullets on her belt. Because the last thing you want to hear in a firefight is click. I think I need to let this dry before I get the leather. Next, fur brown. Holsters and belts. This does not work as well as the brand I used to use. I'm going to have to switch back, I think. Which is unfortunately going to mean to me buying all my paint online now because no one locally carries it anymore. So, oh well, I'll do what I have to do. Oh boy. I've been shoving my arm into my paint this whole time, oh boy. I might have to end up doing a second coat of this. Carefully picking out her goggles, which are a common accessory in the Iron Kingdoms. I just realized that probably wasn't on camera. Let's see here. Okay. Antique Gold 09050. Getting some insignias. Taking that bronze again, I'm going to get this little gorget here below her neck. Let's pick out a few more specific plates on her armor. And I think that's good. Do a little more of the brown off camera, I think, but overall that's going to be base coat, so move on when it dries. Oh, great. Okay, time to shade. Ruddy Leather 09109. Thinning with 1 part water to 1 part paint to make a wash. Going over the brown. Just letting it flow down into the recessed areas. Okay. I can get the gold as well, so Ancient Bronze 09049. That I just put on the iconography, so alright. I'm gonna need to give this a minute to dry. Well, let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna need to let it dry for a bit, so back in a minute. Alright, next. Let's go with Blackened Steel 09205. pistols, and the sword blades. So, at the conclusion of the Warmachine Tactics campaign for Cygnar, Jakes would encounter Sturgis the Corrupted again and prevent him from activating an Orgoth relic, which, now with Oblivion out, have been revealed that they were working for the Infernals. So, oh boy. Just trying to soak up the seal that got a little out of hand there. Aged Pewter 09196. I think I just pronounced that in the most awkward way possible there. But I am a bit worn out. Just going over the bronze. And while her usual journeyman tour was interrupted by the death of her mentor, she did continue partially under the tutelage of Major Marcus Siege Brisbane. And was, after defeating Sturgis the Corrupted and preventing him from using the artifact on behalf of Krex, would be promoted to full Warcaster. And Phoenix Red 09005. And that's pretty much where she stands now. She hasn't really been mentioned much at all in the fiction outside of the game. The video game, I should mention. But she's out there somewhere because some of the other Warcasters that were supposed to have come up in the game had it maintained its original intent, and they maintained the original intent, have been mentioned recently. So she's got to be out there somewhere. In fact, oddly enough, Sturgis the Corrupted had a fiction, the old No Quarter magazine, whereas Jakes has had nothing. Okay, that's enough for now. Let this dry. Move on when it does. Oh boy, I'm dropping frames again. Joys of technical difficulty strike again. Next, 09187 Ultramarine Shadow. Oh, I've barely begun when I've already dropped near over 200 frames. Once again, the more technology advances, the more it turns out like that Mel Brooks movie Spaceballs. And not just the part where the self-destruct button's out of order, or rather the self-destruct override button's out of order. Ah, good grief. And the problem with technology, while it's great when it works, the problem is increasingly becoming that companies are releasing half-finished garbage so that we, the consumer, have to keep buying the same thing over and over and over again. And it wasn't all that long ago that we all expected, everyone in America expected, that when we bought something, it would last. So we should not just get used to the way things are going now, because it's not right. We should demand quality. By quality, I mean that things that actually do what they're supposed to do with no problems or glaring errors. If you hear that loud thumping, that's my downstairs neighbors cranking their stereo again, which is what it is. I'm right now wanting to focus on this. So okay. Okay, there we go. And maybe a little more on the neck. Okay. That's going to leave the skin tone, the khaki, and the white. So just about there, and then I can do some lighting effects. Alright. Next, going to prep some lighting effects first with matte white. Not many of these, but just a few. The smokestacks. Goggles. Sort of generator areas at the base of her blades. The technology of Warmachine, i.e. the Iron Kingdoms, relies on what is called a mechanica, a fusion of magic and technology. One of the foundations of it is the rune plate, a device that essentially holds a spell dormant and only in dormancy and just needs a little magical energy passing over it to activate. Fair Shadow 09046. And then arcane accumulators are basically magic batteries in a very literal sense. So, again, this is plugged up. So these accumulators coupled with rune plates is what causes a lot of this technology to work. At least within the confines of the setting. Boy, that was stuck. And of course, there are also more conventional technologies like gunpowder weapons, steam engines, etc. It's the combination of all these things that really gives the Iron Kingdoms its flavor. Then linen white 09061. that on the cloth. And it seems my neighbors have just actually turned off their stereo when I left to get groceries, and now that I've come back, they've turned it on. I don't think they're doing this on purpose, but it's still kind of irritating. I like music, but when you turn the bass up so loud, so high, you can't tell what kind of music it is. That's when it gets irritating. Oh well. Still take them over that psychopath I had last year any day. Starting to ramble in inappropriate ways. So there we go. Done what I need to do for now. Let that dry. Sort that little bit that's getting on her armor. And let that dry and move on. Alright. Now I can start on the eyes actually, and then do the shading and last of the shading and the lighting effects now. Uh-oh. It's just a little bit of matte white. Carefully fill in her eyes. There we go. Now Khaki Shadow 09121. This little dot's all I'm going to need. Just fill in that sort of padding there. Should do it. And then a little more Fire Orange 09006. Just smokestacks. And Sky Blue 09018. So 2 to 3 parts water to 1 part paint for lighting effects, by the way. I think I forgot to mention that. Lenses and on the base of the blades for the arcane glow there. Okay. And then actually I need a little more matte white so I can prep the front arc. Just a bit. Taking a flathead brush. And actually I don't know that I needed to do that because her arc is a pretty dark color. Because I've been so used to working with those lighter colors on the cricks, I kind of jumped the gun a bit. Oh well. Oh well, it's fine. It's fine. Let that dry and move on when it does. Okay. Alright. Matte black. Got her pupils filled in. Just a tiny dot. switch over to a dry brushing technique. I'll start with Vera Highlights 09048. Ragged feathered brush, something along the lines of that. No water, straight paint only. What about on the paper towel? It looks like there's nothing left. Dusty area to be affected, going against any raised areas. Next, Khaki Highlight 09123. Your brush does need to be completely dry, but in my case I've got several that are suitable. I just punched out my camera. Okay. Hopefully it's okay. I'm hearing bad noises coming from my computer, so let's see what that's all about. That looks alright. Ghost White 09063. Focusing on the most readily visible surfaces. Going against raised areas. The highlight on this one is pretty subtle. Ultramarine Highlight 09189. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. There's enough to work with. More paint, which I'm going to have to order online, is definitely on the itinerary once I get my federal tax refund back. Next one, how about Tarnished Brass 09198. Oh boy, I'm dropping frames again. They're blur on me again. Jeez. I will keep working with this until I get it right. That doesn't make it any less frustrating until I actually do figure out how to fix this blur. I'll freshen the paint as needed. True Silver 09207. That didn't sound good. That's because something's trying to run away from me. I'll worry about picking it up later. Let's see, next. First off, let's see if I can get this camera to focus a little better. And then Marigold Yellow 09007. And then what am I forgetting? Or is it Burnt Orange 09111? Just plugged up. Let's see, so paper clip down the nozzle. Get it clear. Oh, the sounds these things make when they're running low. Just realized I forgot to highlight the bullets on her ammo belt. Just take that bronze again. And there we go. And I'm gonna shoot. Got to highlight the gorget as well. New gold 09051. Take a detailed brush and take some of that matte white. Just shine the goggles a little. And take Ultramarine blue again. And a flathead. there's the one. Get a grip on the right brush. Just go over the arc here. Didn't really need to do it in white first. I just kind of got into a habit of doing this with those Crux models a while ago. And there we are. Once that all dries completely, I can now wrap up the basing. Alright, time to do the arcs on the base. Matte black. This is a self-healing cutting matte Pewter press puts out, and it's got the markings on it for the 30, 40, and 50 millimeter bases. The 150 millimeter ones have markings on them already. Got Jakes centered the way I want her. Just hold her down with one finger. Take a little matte black and carefully mark the edges here. Clean that up. Okay, now I'm going to switch to a flathead. Make sure I'm still kind of in camera. This is awkward angle. That's my flathead. I'm just going to backfill carefully. Being careful around any parts that come close to the edge because I don't want to undo all the work I've just finished. Okay. Once that dries completely, I can put the flock on. Unbroken frames, criminy. Okay, alright, time to base. White glue and water. Mix that up there, real thorough-like. Carefully painting in around the feet of the model. And taking a mix of flock and static grass. Let's give her a dip. Tap out the excess. And I don't even need to push anything away, so that's going to need to set for a bit. So, one more step, back in a minute. Okay, final step. Take some Scenic cement. This is a Woodland Scenics product. And using a glass eyedropper, carefully drip it into the base. Black glass, because this stuff will bond to plastic very quickly. And you need to give the basing material some time to set first, otherwise this will just push it around. But now this will seal it, give it a rock hard finish. One thing left is to go over with a varnish, which I can't do on camera because it involves an aerosol spray can. But there is Captain Allison Jakes. More Cygnar next. Until then, I am Ian Stuckey with Mastermind Games, signing out.